Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Noelle and I review and unbox subscription boxes here on my channel, and today I have a lovely book subscription box that has been sent to me for review. It is of course Authentic Books, and I just love when we get their branded box. I think they're so pretty. This one's awfully light right now because it's empty. I have all of the items already laid out in front of me, but I'm just going to show you the interior. Now, I've been kind of poking around on their website since they sort of changed the way that you select your book each month, and it looks to me like they have sort of changed the options as well. So there used to be 3 different size boxes, a mini, full, and premium. It looks to me as though they have gotten rid of the mini option, so now it's just essentially the full or premium. So the smallest box you can get now when you build your experience on the website is the one that comes with 2 touch items or lifestyle or self-care items, and the drink option, so you can choose with to get a coffee, tea, or cocktail mixer. But I'll try to make the distinctions a little clearer because this is the August box, and the August box you still had 3 different options. I just think it's really nice to have a pretty box like this because if you're anything like me and you really like to enjoy the items in a book subscription box as you read the book, it's nice to kind of have them all stored in a pretty little treasure trove, right? Now, if you are interested in subscribing to Authentic Books, you can save 10% using my code Noel10. As always, I will leave all of that information for you in the description box below. This is also the best book box named by the No-Bots, which is what we call viewers of my channel. They're called No-Bots, and we had our own little awards last year, so we'll probably be having them again in November of this year. But this is how we chose the subscription box that we would use for our book club selections. So we are going on our 4th book club book read, so I'm very excited that we were able to do the whole year. We just do 1 book per quarter to make it a little bit more manageable, but it is really fun when people elect to get the boxes to kind of amp up their experience. All right, so the book for August that I selected, and there are always 3 options, which we absolutely love that. It's nice to have options and to find a genre, find a book that's always going to work with you, and they're always new releases, which is why sometimes we get the books for a given month way at the end of that month, if not in the beginning of the following month. So like I said, this is the August box, but I probably didn't get it until the end of September, so that's kind of how it works. You get this nice guide, and it will tell you what the book was. So this was a very popular thriller author these days, Lisa Jewell. The novel is None of This Is True. And then inside, she does tell us all of the items that are inside. She does say here, you know, if it's going to be in the mini, full, or premium. I think that is going to change because now there's just full or premium. But it also speaks to the sense that that item is dedicated to. So it's supposed to be a fully immersive experience. So obviously, sense of sight is the book itself. Smell, all of the boxes have a hand-poured soy candle, sometimes in collaboration with the author. Then there's always a taste item. So that is sometimes represented by the, I used to think in the mini boxes it was really represented by the cocktail recipe and the story eats recipe, but now it's if it's going to just be the full and premium, then you're also getting taste because you can choose, again, cocktail mix, coffee, or tea, again inspired by the book. So essentially she's putting together 3 different boxes, 3 different curations every month with options, with where you still get to customize some of the items. And then there's always going to be a taste item. Now it sounds like there's always going to be at least, there's an option to upgrade to the premium box, which is your second taste item. So first one is a drink, second one would be chocolate, and then there's 3 touch items is the maximum. You'll get 2 touch items in the full, or what's I'm now calling the medium box. And when there was a mini box, as there was with this one, you would have just gotten 1 touch item. So just to give you a heads up on the pricing, it used to be 3 different prices, obviously, as it was for this particular month, and then $9.99 in shipping. She's actually reduced the shipping, so it's the prices changed, but the overall price, when you add the box cost as well as the $5 shipping now, it's about the same. So it looks like now what would be the full box, or the smallest box size you can now purchase on the site, it's going to be $56.99. plus $5 in shipping. And then and you're always going to get the enhancers like the Tasseled bookmark, which is lovely, the recipe cards, an author's note if available, the signed book plates when available, and Spotify playlist for the sense of sound, of course. So I love me my quote bookmarks. People who seem boring can have the most interesting stories to tell. You just need to get it out of them. So very, very interesting, right? So $56.99 for the full box plus $5 in shipping, and now $66.99 plus $5 in shipping for the premium box. All right. If you have any questions, I will try to note it in the description box below. So here is our nice hardcover. That's one of the other cool things. Every once in a while we'll get a paperback, but because they are often new releases, usually the hardcover is what we get, which I love. So I'm just going to read this to you, and then we will get into the actual items inside. And maybe if I have time, I'll read some of the passages that have to do with the inspired gifts. When a famous podcaster interviews a stranger promising to divulge the story of a lifetime, secrets emerge that threaten to expose the truth of the lives they've both worked hard to project and protect. Celebrating her 45th birthday at the hot new local pub, popular podcaster Alex Summer crosses paths with an unassuming woman called Josie Fair. Josie, it turns out, is also celebrating her 45th birthday. They are, in fact, birthday twins. A few days later, Alex and Josie bump into each other again, this time outside Alex's children's school. Josie has been listening to Alex's podcasts and thinks she might be an interesting subject for her series. She tells Alex, on the cusp of great changes in her life. Josie's life appears to be strange and complicated, and although Alex finds her unsettling, she can't quite resist the temptation to keep going on the project. Slowly, she starts to realize that Josie is hiding some very dark secrets, and before she knows it, Josie has inveigled her way into Alex's life and into her home. But as quickly as she had arrived, Josie Fair disappears. Only then does Alex discover that Josie has left a terrible and terrifying legacy in her wake, and that Alex has become the subject of her own true crime podcast, with her life and her family's lives in grave danger. #1 New York Times bestselling author Lisa Jewell delivers the book of her career in this absolute show-stopping work of She Said, She Said, where two women collide on their birthday night, forcing an unforgettable reckoning between two women with huge but very different ambitions for their lives. I will say, I thought this was great. There were some, it was very current. They even, they got through 2020 and everything that we all had to get through. There were so many moments we were like, run, she's a crazy person. You have to get her out of your house. There were twists and turns, some of them very few of them did I expect right up until the end. And there's a couple of like loose ends at the end where there could be a sequel or it could be a really good, still satisfying, but still open-ended movie. I could definitely see this being made into a movie. I thought this was a really good one. And I love thrillers, and lately I've been feeling like a lot of them have been a tiny bit predictable, or the answers are a little bit too easy. And I actually found this one pretty good. Pretty good. It was a fun one to imagine in my head. So let's talk about the items. There was no author's note for this one because Lisa Jewell, pretty big author. But we did all get that hand-poured soy candle, of course, that comes in this little box. And this one is called True Crime Junkie, which of course mimics the name of one of my favorite true crime podcasts. Was inspired by sweet black vanilla and soft cashmere musk. So this is what it looks like. Our candles are always hand-stirred and poured in the Authentic Books studio using non-toxic ingredients. Very exciting news over there at Authentic Books as well. They now have a brick and mortar shop, which I think is pretty awesome. One of the other cool things that they do is they do give you some discount codes from the makers that are represented in the box, as well as do a feature of one of the small businesses that might be in there. All right, so we have our candle, which let me see how it smells. Sometimes they put some little extra jewels on top, pun intended. That's nice. Oh, it's very vanilla. Not too sweet though. Good fall scent, honestly, even though this is technically the August box, but black vanilla and cashmere musk. It's good. It's a little dark. It's a little sultry, a little mysterious. I like it. So for taste, I always do the cocktail mix. So this time it was the Per Se Hibiscus Margarita, which is basically a non-alcoholic mixer, which you can enjoy on its own, or you can add actual tequila. So not much of a cocktail recipe for that one, just because it's like, put it on ice and decide if you want to add alcohol. So, but that was inspired by a moment in the book where Alex has finally, yes, because little spoiler alert, Miss Josie winds up basically moving in. She really she's got definite kind of stalker qualities. She definitely covets Alex's life, and she winds up living with her for a short amount of time, and presenting herself as a survivor. But she does eventually leave, and she kind of leaves because Alex says her sisters are coming to stay and there's really no room for Josie anymore, so they celebrate with an evening in making margaritas. So it's not really a crucial moment in the story, but let's see if I can find that. It's dated, it goes back and forth. There's different sections where it's in the voice of the podcast that actually comes, that is created by their interactions. So let's see. Alex is with her sisters. At 7 o'clock, they order their pizzas and start making the margaritas. Maxine, sister, is responsible for this undertaking as she spent 3 years working in a cocktail bar in her 20s. At 7:30, Nathan, Alex's husband, leaves. Alex follows him to the door and puts her lips to his neck and brushes her leg against his groin. "Be good," she says. "Please." So he has a bit of a drinking problem. I'm going to kind of butcher some British accents because this does take place in the UK, and she's a UK writer, but you have to I had to imagine it that way because otherwise it didn't make sense when they were referring to different place names. Let's see, what else? We also have, for our next item, let's see, we had for taste number 2, which would only be in the premium boxes, which are still available. When you do taste number 2, when you add the chocolate, you are also adding a third touch item. So you wind up with 2 tastes and 2 touches. So we had this chocolate bar, which is from Lollipops. Of course, it is the birthday cake chocolate bar. Doesn't that look amazing with all the sprinkles? And of course, that comes from the name of the podcast and the premise that they are birthday twins. So let me go to page 40. This is, of course, in the beginning. And even in the beginning, Josie really inserts herself. So let's see. Josie glances quickly about herself, checking that nobody is listening in, then says, "I saw that you're a podcaster. I heard you saying your name in the Lansdowne that night, and I thought it sounded familiar, so I Googled you and realized why I'd heard of you. I'm not like a stalker or anything, and I listened to some of your podcasts. So inspiring, those women. The things they've been through, it's just incredible." And she pauses and checks around herself again. "I hope this doesn't sound strange, but I wondered, have you ever thought about doing a podcast about someone who's about to change their life rather than someone who already has?" "Oh," Alex says in surprise. No, I haven't. But I could see how that could be interesting." "Yes, that's what I thought. You could follow somebody's progress as they break through their barriers and achieve their goals, as they're doing it." "Yes, absolutely. But I suppose the problem is that people often don't realize that their lives are changing for the better until after the event, when they stop to look back." Let's see. So basically it's kind of a sliding doors thing. She's like, we came from the same place. We were born in the same hospital on the same day, but your life is so different from mine. And she does wind up calling it, Hello, I'm Your Birthday Twin is the name of the podcast. So that is where the birthday cake, amazing chocolate bar. This is hefty. Looks really good to me. All right, so touch number 1, 2, and 3 are coming up. So touch number 1 would be in the mini boxes. Now touch number 1 and number 2 would be in the full boxes or the smallest box. So we got our Daily Wonders Detox and Chill Mask. It says detox and chill with this purifying charcoal mask. This black sheet mask contains activated charcoal and volcanic ash, which removes impurities, deep cleanses, and minimizes pores. So I have a feeling that this has to do with, unfortunately, poor Nathan, who is constantly going on a bender, and that's a bit of an issue, a bit of a sore point, and that is kind of a place where Josie thinks that she can be on Alex's side and try to free her from the chains of this husband that's struggling. For touch number 2, this was kind of interesting. So we got these men's socks. It does say very clearly that they're men's crew socks, but they're for the gamer in your life. So it says, add a fun and funky touch to every outfit with the socks. Premium cotton dress socks, which are here to dazzle everyone with their colorful design and trendy patterns. Now this you know, I will probably gift them to a guy who likes to play video games, but it's because one of Josie's daughters is kind of a recluse, and she lives in her room. We find out a lot more about that, but she is a gamer. She's actually a really popular gamer, and so when she sort of goes missing, her friends online who are on, I think it's called Glitch instead of like Twitch, she is goes missing, and her name is erased, her name is Erin, but it's a kind of a play on words. So that is where that comes from, because there is definitely a gamer in the story. And then finally, touch number 3, which would only be in the premium boxes. So that's only if you decided to upgrade and get the chocolate and the extra touch item. We got this nice little jewelry box, and this is from Ellison & Young. I thought this was actually quite lovely. It is a gold lariat necklace, and it's got these little honeycombs and then this little bee charm. And this does kind of become a focal point because Josie has sticky fingers, and she tends to like to lift different items from Alex's house. It could be something simple like hand soap, it could be jewelry pieces, and eventually most of them are found. It takes quite some time until Josie has disappeared, and eventually we don't know where this bee necklace has gone, but it's definitely something that Josie notices that very first night that she meets Alex, and then we do find out what happens to it, but I don't want to give too much away. So such a unique statement necklace, detailed with a beehive with an adorable bumblebee charm hanging on the chain. I love a lariat necklace. I just think it's a really cool look. I love that extra length and how adjustable it is, and I also love bee things, so I thought that was a really cool, really lovely item that was worth that essentially like $10 upgrade to get an extra touch item and the chocolate. For me, that was definitely a worthy upgrade. So let me see if I can find where that comes in. It came in several places in the book. It definitely was a motif, a little light motif. Let's see if I can remember. Oh, so later on, let's see. Alex gets up to leave, then stops when she remembers something that's been nagging at her for days. "Was that all?" she asked the detective. "There wasn't a necklace with a golden bumblebee pendant?" "No," says Sabrina, "not that I'm aware of, but if it turns up, I'll let you know." "Thank you," says Alex, her fingers going instinctively to her clavicle where the pendant used to hang. "That would be great." So some of the mysteries have started to unravel, but some of her stuff is still gone, and this woman, Josie, you're left wondering, like, was it all a lie, or was some of it true, or is there some other instigator? Is she as bad as she seems at the end? I mean, it was really good, honestly. But we have like our tip-offs in the very beginning. So talking about, so again, we got our candle, our lovely True Crime Junkie candle. We got our cocktail mix from that scene where the sisters are having margaritas. The birthday cake, chocolate, of course, from the premise of them being birthday twins, their different lives, and the podcast name. Detox because of Nathan's unfortunate addiction. Gaming socks because of one of the daughters of Josie being a gamer. One of them is missing. The other daughter is missing. And then this beautiful bee necklace because that is something that belongs to Alex that goes missing. But one of the things that I thought was interesting, like, you know that there's something up with this woman in the very beginning. She has a much older husband. You know, they didn't never go out. It's just this one occasion where she's like, I want to go out for my birthday, and she immediately like latches on to Alex when she sees her across the restaurant. But in the very beginning, so the food recipe is a sun-dried tomato feta bread, which actually sounds pretty good, pretty savory. I like savory things like that. And that is in reference to what she has that night out at the restaurant. So it comes really early. Let's see if I can find it. So she'd looked up the menu earlier online, so she'd be able to Google stuff if she didn't know what it was. So she already knows what she's having, and they're ordering champagne. She doesn't care what Walter, her husband, thinks. So she definitely does her research, but she's one of those women who does what it takes to get what she wants, I guess, in very interesting ways. And so then later, let's see, She orders feta and sun-dried tomato flatbread, followed by tuna tagliata. The word tagliata derives from the word tagliare, to cut, with mashed cannellini beans and a bottle of Veuve Clicquot. Veuve Clicquot's yellow label is loved for its rich and toasty flavors, and she grabs Walter's hand and rubs her thumb over the age-spotted skin and asks, "Are you okay?" So that wasn't the part that was like, I was like, red flags. It was when she actually goes over to Alex's house and Alex makes a nice pasta and she's like, she feels like that was a gyp, that they just got stodgy pasta instead of a fancier meal because Alex has such a fancy life. They should have had a fancier dinner party. And you're like, you just met this woman and she's doing you a favor by telling your story and she doesn't even know how messed up you are. So you know in the beginning, there's something up with Josie. That would have been another good name for this book. But none of this is true. Should have been an indicator as well. Anyway, you guys, I know this wasn't much of a book review because it's a thriller, so I can only give so much away. But I thought it was a pretty good thriller, in all honesty. I do like Lisa Jewell's books for the most part. There's only been a few that I felt like fell a little short of my expectations, and I thought the gifts were pretty good. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with the gaming socks, honestly, but they will make probably a good male gift. I do love this bumblebee pendant though. I thought that was a really, really nice one. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please give it a thumbs up and I'll see you soon in my next unboxing. Woo!